Fantasy freaks and geeks, what's going on? James Coe here with you. All right. What an absolute bummer of a Thursday night football game that was. Oh my goodness. Cooper Kupp with a fat zero spot. Bro, what? You cannot give me a zero spot. On the first week of the playoffs, Deebo Samuel absolutely not beating them allegations. Deebo Samuel has had less than 7 fantasy points in 5 straight games. I mean, shoot, he's been under 6 points in 4 straight games. That's crazy, man. 7 targets, 3 grabs for 16 yards for Deebo Samuel in a beautiful spot against an LA Rams defense that is not very good. I honestly thought Deebo was going to go off because of all the chatter. I mean, shoot. I mean, he did see 7 targets. Man, tough. Deebo Samuel, Brock Purdy, Stafford, and of course, Cooper Kupp. My God. Absolute bombs. Oh my gosh, that's crazy stuff. Anyways, you know what, man? We're not here to talk about Thursday Night Football. We're here to talk about some dang sleepers. Let's freaking go. And to be honest with you, I'm actually pretty excited about this cast of characters that I have cooked up this week. It's wide receivers and tight ends that we are talking about today. We will start with Demario Douglas taking on Arizona. The Cardinals have struggled defending the inside. They're bottom 10 in receptions, yards, completion percentage, and yards per attempt on passes thrown to receivers in the slot. Demario Douglas, obviously the primary slot man for the New England Patriots. And with Arizona a 5.5-point favorite, you would think that this favors a slightly higher passing game script. And plus, the volume hasn't been bad. Pop is averaging 6.2 targets per game over his last 5 games. All that has translated to 4.8 receptions and 45.2 yards per contest. That's just about 9 PPR points. But again, I won't be so bold as to say Pop Douglas in the end zone because they just don't look for him in the red area. But a slight uptick in volume could result in a solid 12, 13-point day here for Demario Douglas. So we'll see if that one works out. Elijah Moore taking on Kansas City. This is the one that I'm very intrigued by, to be honest with you, because the Chiefs, they have allowed the 5th most fantasy points per game to inside wide receivers. So very productive have inside wide receivers been against the Chiefs. And of extra interest to me is the fact that they have given up 73.1% completion percentage to receivers lined up in the slot. That is the 3rd worst mark in the NFL. If Jameis is looking for easy receptions, he will find Elijah Moore there more often than not. And if Moore gets 7 to 10 targets this week, which is, by the way, that's like normal for Elijah Moore, he could be very, very productive. Again, I just want to talk about the volume here in regards to Elijah Moore. The target totals have been absolutely bonkers with Jameis under center. Moore is averaging 8.7 targets per game over his last 6 games. You guys, if this guy sees 10 targets in this game, first of all, don't be surprised. But second of all, he will be extremely productive. Again, touchdowns have been a little bit of a problem, and that's fine. All the touchdowns have seemingly gone to David Njoku, Jerry Jeudy, and anyone not named Elijah Moore. Okay, that is fine. But golly, the volume is certainly there, and I think he can get the yardage as well. All right, we're going to stay on the inside. This time we're going to be talking about Sterling Shepard taking on the LA Chargers. The Chargers are, look, they're middle of the road in terms of fantasy points allowed to the slot. But they are bottom 3 when it comes to yards per attempt to the inside. Teams really just haven't fired the ball to the inside part of the field against the LA Chargers. Makes some sense here. Derwin James obviously looming. You want to stay away from Derwin James. I totally get it. Now, that being said, the Chargers have also faced, I don't want to say 0, but damn near 0 players who can sting you from the slot, right? They faced Kansas City, Atlanta, Baltimore, Cincinnati, Tennessee, New Orleans, Arizona, In 7 of their last 8 games, of all of those teams that I have listed off, there is nary a one. There is not one primary slot receiver that you're actually worried about, right? That's a lot of games. That is a lot of games. Now, Sterling Shepard does move around the formation. He's a kind of sort of a 60-40 outside-inside guy, 55-45 outside-inside guy. So if we're being fair, Sterling Shepard is primarily an outside receiver. But when they do go to 3 wide receiver sets, Sterling Shepard commonly does kick inside. Okay, so that being said, I could see Sterling stinging the Chargers because he really has been a lot more of an integral part of this Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense. He saw the second most targets last week, and over his last 3 games, he's emerged, man. He's averaging a rock solid 6.7 targets per game. I think Sterling Shepard could really make some noise here, and I actually think that he's got a decent chance of scoring a touchdown as well, because Tampa Bay, and in particular, Baker Mayfield, they've been playing pretty good football, man. They have been playing pretty good football. So I really like Sterling Shepard this week against the LA Chargers. Xavier Legette versus Dallas. This is a player that I am very confident in this week. Look, we know that Jamar Chase obviously just went ham sandwich against the Dallas Cowboys last week. 46.1 PPR points for the great Jamar Chase. I am not implying that Xavier Legette is in that ballpark. No, not even close. Okay. But I'm just saying Dallas can be had on the outside. All right. They give up production to outside wide receivers. 5 different outside wide receivers have scored 15 plus PPR points against the Cowboys over their last 6 games. Again, let me put this in another way. I'll rearrange the words. In 5 of the last 6 games against the Dallas Cowboys, outside wide receivers have scored 15 plus PPR points against them. So Legette is in a very good spot. Now, the volume hasn't necessarily translated into fantasy points, but we know that Bryce Young is playing better, and Legs has seen 8 targets in back-to-back games as the coaching staff is starting to feel more and more comfortable taking some of the bumpers off of Bryce Young's game. Right? Early on, and when he first got reinserted into the lineup, Dave Canales basically had training wheels on this offense where they try to run the ball, they try to establish the run. It's chuba, chuba, chuba all the time, right? They wanted to basically de-emphasize Bryce Young, and for good reason. But overall, especially in more recent games here, Bryce Young has obviously played a lot better, and his passing volume has gone up as a result of that as well. So increased passing volume means increased target share for Xavier Legette. So I feel extremely confident in Xavier Legette coming through, scoring, let's just say 15 plus fantasy points this week in full point PPR. I don't know, man. For whatever reason, man, it's in the gut. I'm feeling it this week with Xavier Legette. LFG, let's freaking go. Deep sleeper here for you. Brandon Cooks against the aforementioned Carolina Panthers. The cookie train is still getting his sea legs back after that long hiatus on IR. But, man, I'll say this. I think he's coming around. I think the last couple of games that we've seen here, Brandon Cooks is starting to look a little bit more comfortable. Obviously, we don't feel that comfortable with the quarterback play in Cooper Rush. But, like I said last week, Cooper Rush is not the worst backup quarterback in the NFL. Man, and let me just say this, man. Brandon Cooks, what is underrated about Brandon Cooks' game for being an undersized outside X receiver, man, the Cookie Man is a straight up dog around the end zone. He has caught a touchdown in 2 straight games, and he has 11 touchdowns over his last 18 games played. Impressive stuff from Brandon Cooks. I bring that up because the Panthers are tied for the 8th most touchdowns allowed to outside wide receivers. Good scoring matchup for Brandon Cooks, who is a good scorer himself. That's not bad. We'll stay on this deep sleeper train. We'll talk about Nick Westbrook-Akine, NWI, as the kids are calling him. I don't know if the kids call him that. I mean, some people call him that. I don't know. NWI taking on Cincinnati. And we know Cincinnati's defense is not very good. He obviously crashed out last week. And, that's what's going to happen with a low volume, high upside touchdown scorer like Nick Westbrook-Akine. But let me just say this. He dropped a very catchable ball in the end zone last week, which would have saved his day. And it would have also been his 9th score of the year, his 9th touchdown in 9 weeks, which is just absolutely banana pants, man. I do think he has a real chance to pierce the paint again this week. Let's go. Cincinnati, we talked about Carolina. Cincinnati is that other team tied for 8th in terms of most touchdowns allowed to outside wide receivers. And they have allowed a touchdown to outside wide receivers in 3 straight games. I think Nick Westbrook-Akine is in a pretty good spot against the Cincinnati Bengals. I think there's like a couple different ways he can actually make it count this week because Cincinnati's defense is that bad. If they shade coverage over to Ridley, I think, again, Billy Jean's Will Levis has some eyes for Nick Westbrook-Akine. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him catch a long one, compile maybe 80, 90 yards with like 5 catches to get you there. Or maybe he catches like 4 receptions for 50 yards, but also gets you a touchdown. Like I said, I think there's a couple different ways for Nick Westbrook-Akine to take it home. We're going to stay on this deep sleeper train. We're going to go to my boy. I love this guy. I love me some Darius Slayton. I cannot quit Darius Slayton. I just think this guy is a rock solid player who gets absolutely no love, not even from my guy, Matt Harmon. I've been trying to convince our guy, Matt Harmon, that Darius Slayton can play, and Matt Harmon won't hear it. He won't even chart the guy. Come on, bro. What's going on over here? Darius Slayton, man, this guy can play. Let's go. But Darius Slayton's taking on Baltimore. Look, and I understand. I get it. Okay, it's Tommy Cutlets. You can't play a secondary wide receiver with Tommy Cutlets. I'm just saying, man, the matchup is pristine. It's clean. It's looking nice because the Ravens have allowed the 2nd most receptions and the 2nd most yards to outside wide receivers. Now, Slayton, again, it's solid. It's not great, but this is why he's a deep sleeper. He's seen 6 targets in back-to-back games. And here's the thing. The Giants, they are a massive underdog. 14.5-point underdog are the New York Football Giants. If that does not tell you that this is going to be a heavy passing game script, I don't know. They're going to have to pass to stay in contact with Baltimore. My only hope is that Baltimore doesn't play down to the level of competition. But if I know one thing about John Harbaugh, Lamar Jackson, and the Baltimore Ravens, when they turn into freaking LeBron James and Dwayne Wade and Kobe Bryant combined, when they play a bad NFC team, when they are facing a bad NFC team, it's like Goku reaching Super Saiyan. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is insane how well Baltimore plays against bad NFC teams. And the Giants, my friends, are a bad NFC team. I think they're going to put up a huge number. Listen, if you've got Zay Flowers, fire him up. If you got Mark Andrews, oh my God, fire him up. All these boys are going to eat. Derrick Henry going to eat. As a matter of fact, I actually like Justice Hill in this one after examining the numbers, man. I like him too. Fire up, throw all your Ravens into the pot. Rashad Bateman, 100%. Let's go. If he's healthy. But yeah, no, listen. I bring this back to the Giants because I also think they're going to have to throw this ball. And by the way, we know this. His nickname is Big Play Darius Slayton, which he stole from Big Play Darius Slay. Which is kind of lame, but whatever. He makes big plays. He absolutely does make big plays, does Darius Slayton. And he's taken on a team that's been giving up big plays all year long. I think Darius Slayton as a deep sleeper has some upside and some potential. I'm really excited there. Another deep sleeper that I think really could hit and really put up a nice big number. How about Rome Odunze against Minnesota? I keep wanting to call him Minneapolis. Bro, I don't know where my brain is at. But against Minnesota, the Vikings, all right? Skol! Let's go. Look, this is a smash spot for DJ Moore. It is, again, I want to say again, a smash spot for DJ Moore, because the last time DJ Moore saw the Minnesota Vikings, he put up a huge number, 106 yards, a touchdown, a bunch of receptions. He ended up scoring 27 fantasy points in that matchup not that long ago, week 12 against Minnesota. But I want to highlight this as well. Now, Odunze didn't necessarily come through for you, but can I say this? In that game, Odunze saw 10 targets. 10. That's a huge number. Now, again, he didn't necessarily connect with Caleb Williams on a big play, but man, those plays were out there, boy. And Minnesota obviously gives up tons of big plays because of their heavy blitzing style. Very gambler's mentality with that defense there in Minnesota. So the point being is, let me tell you right now, if Rome Odunze sees 10 targets, I promise you he's putting up a big number. I'm talking more than 15. More than 15. If Odunze sees 10 targets, he's putting up more than 15. Mark it down. Okay, mark it down. I really like Odunze as a deep sleeper this week. All right, we're going to round this one out with some tight ends, and this one might go a little quick here, okay? These are two deep sleepers that I'm interested in at the tight end spot, okay? First one is Daniel, Belly of the Beast Bellinger. He's taken on the aforementioned Baltimore Ravens. I've talked about Bellinger before. I'm just a fan of his game. Dude, this guy can play, man. I mean, they went and drafted Theo Johnson, so I get it. Johnson's a hyper freakish athlete. Cool, I understand, you know. But man, this guy can just flat out play, Bellinger. You know, and again, with Theo Johnson out for the season with that foot injury, Belly finally got an opportunity. And you know what? He was solid, man. 7 targets, 5 grabs, 45 yards. Now, that's not world-beating numbers. But you know what the 7 targets tells me? He's getting open. 5 receptions, over a 70% catch rate. You know, this is the crazy thing, bro. Again, Bellinger has some of the best hands you will find at the tight end spot. This guy's got a career 86.3% catch rate. Unbelievable. Crazy sticky from Bellinger. And again, he's taking on a Baltimore team, a Ravens defense that it's allowed the 9th most fantasy points per game to the tight end position. 4 of the last 7 starting tight ends they have faced have scored 12 plus PPR points. Bro, if you get 12 points, PPR points from Daniel Bellinger, you'll be happy. I'm not going to say you'll be stoked, but bro, you will be happy. 100% you'll be happy. And again, it's the backup to the backup. I understand. It's Tommy Cutlets, baby. But, you know, does he lean on the short game? And if they lean on the short game, because they will be trailing, again, I could absolutely see Bellinger being a little bit of a PPR scam artist and collecting, you know, double-digit figures here. Just from a PPR standpoint. Again, by the way, tight end premium, yeah, man. Go get Daniel Bellinger in there. Come on, bro. Okay, finally, Stone Smart, another deep sleeper, taking on Tampa Bay. There are a good chunk of you who have no idea who the hell Stone Smart is. None. And I don't blame you. Who the hell is Stone Smart, bro? Stone Smart absolutely sounds like a kitchen countertop and backyard remodeling company. Call 888-555-1212. Call Stone Smart today. We'll refinish your backyard. Stone Smart, right? He plays for the Chargers. Okay. Will Dissly is likely to miss multiple weeks with an injury here. And from everything that I have read, Stone Smart is in line to start against a Tampa Bay defense that has given up the second most receiving yards to tight ends this year. By the way, Smart's a really good athlete. Good athlete, solid hands in a really good matchup against Tampa Bay. Stone Smart, deep sleeper. Playing DFS, go find Stone Smart. I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. All right, so there you go. That's the show. We got to go. But remember, tomorrow we will be back with injury news, the latest on the injury front, and what that could potentially mean for your fantasy teams. But until then, I want you to remember, and I want you to live this code. Just remember, it's never too late to chase your dreams. All right, peace.